Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan salam sejahtera kepada Puan Azam Munir binti Mota. Hari ini kumpulan kami akan membentangkan chapter 5 iaitu controlling. Grup kami terdiri daripada 4 orang ahli. Yang pertama, Prisa anak perempuan Prapan nombor metrik 03 DAT 20F10051. Yang kedua, Tasini anak perempuan Murugan nombor metrik 03 DAT 20F1057. Yang ketiga, Muhammad Jafni bin Abdul Khair nombor metrik 03 DAT 20F1060. Dan akhir sekali, saya Muhammad Nazir Ikram bin Muhammad Asrul nombor metrik saya 03 DAT 20F1054. Listen learning objective ataupun apa yang kita akan dapat pada akhir chapter ni. Yang pertama, konsep controlling. Yang kedua, define the controlling. Kita akan tahu maksud pengawalan. Yang ketiga, discuss the importance of controlling. Kita akan tahu kepentingan pengawalan. Yang keempat, explain the controlling process. Kita akan tahu proses-proses pengawalan. Yang kelima, explain the principles of effective controlling. Kita akan tahu prinsip pengawalan yang berkesan. Dan akhir sekali, describe type of controlling. Kita akan tahu jenis-jenis kawalan yang terdiri daripada 3, iaitu control type by timing, jenis kawalan mengikut masa. Yang kedua, financial control, kawalan kewangan. Dan akhir sekali, benchmarking, iaitu penanda aras. Okey, sekarang kita akan masuk kepada concept of controlling in organisation, iaitu konsep pengawalan dalam sesebuah organisasi. Controlling is an important managerial function. It is the process of measuring actual performance and comparing it with standard to identify any deviation. Pengawalan adalah fungsi pengurusan yang sangat penting. Ia adalah proses bagi mengukur prestasi sebenar dan membandingkannya dengan piawaian untuk mengenal pasti sebarang penyelewengan. The words control suggest checking, testing, regulating, verifying or adjusting. Perkataan pengawalan boleh merujuk kepada menyemak, menguji, mengawal selia, mengesahkan atau menyelesaikan diri. The control provides the basis for future action. It also help in taking corrective action to meet the standard. Kawalan ini menyediakan asas untuk tindakan masa depan. Ia juga membantu dalam mengambil tindakan pembetulan untuk memenuhi piawaian. Controlling is having a need to control other people's behavior. It discover the deviation and takes corrective measure. Pengawalan mempunyai keperluan untuk mengawal tingkah laku seseorang. Dengan pengawalan, juga kita dapat mengetahui sekiranya berlaku penyelewengan dan mengambil langkah-langkah pembetulan. It reduces the chances the mistake being repeated in the future by providing preventive step. Ia dapat mengurangkan kemungkinan kesilapan diulangi pada masa akan datang dengan menyediakan langkah-langkah pencegahan. Seterusnya kita akan masuk kepada definition of controlling ataupun maksud pengawalan. Controlling can be defined as a managerial function to ensure that activities in an organisation are performed according to the plan. Controlling also ensure efficient and effective use of organizational resources for achieving the goals. Hence, it is a goal-oriented function. Okey, pengawalan boleh ditakrifkan sebagai fungsi pengurusan bagi memastikan aktiviti dalam sesebuah organisasi dilaksanakan mengikut perancangan. Pengawalan juga memastikan penggunaan sumber organisasi digunakan dengan cekap dan berkesan. Untuk memastikan matlamat tersebut, oleh itu ini adalah fungsi berorientasikan matlamat. Sekarang saya akan senaraikan 4 importance of controlling. Yang pertama, accomplishing organizational goals, iaitu mencapai matlamat organisasi. Yang kedua, making efficient use of resources, menjadikan penggunaan sumber yang cekap. Yang ketiga, improving employer motivation, meningkatkan motivasi pekerja. Dan akhir sekali, ensuring order and discipline, memastikan ketenteraman dan disiplin terkawal. For accomplishing organizational goals, Controlling help in comparing the actual performance with the predetermined standards, finding out deviation and taking corrective measures to ensure that the activities are performance according to plans. Thus, it helps in achieving organizational goals. Pengawalan membantu dalam membandingkan prestasi sebenar dengan piawaian yang telah ditetapkan, mengetahui penyelewengan dan mengambil langkah-langkah pembetulan untuk memastikan aktiviti dilakukan mengikut perancangan. Oleh itu, ia membantu dalam mencapai matlamat organisasi. Bagi making efficient use of resources pula, controlling checks the working of employees at each and every stage of operation. Hence, it ensures effective and efficient use of all resources in an organisation with minimum wastage and or spoilage. Pengawalan memeriksa kerja yang telah dilakukan oleh setiap pekerja dalam setiap peringkat operasi. Oleh itu, ia memastikan penggunaan semua sumber yang berkesan dan cekap dalam sesebuah organisasi dengan pembaziran yang minimum dan kerosakan yang minimum. Improving employees' motivation. Employees know the standards against which their performance will be judged. Systematic evolution of performance and consequent rewards in the form of increment, bonus, promotion motivate the employees to put in their best effort. Pekerja tahu yang mana prestasi mereka akan dinilai. Penilaian sistematik prestasi yang memberikan ganjaran dalam bentuk kenaikan, bonus, promosi memotivasikan pekerja untuk melakukan usaha terbaik mereka. Akhir sekali, ensuring order and discipline. Controlling ensure a close check on the activities of the employees. Hence, it help to reducing the dishonest behavior of the employees and in creating order and discipline in an organisation. Pengawalan memastikan pemeriksaan rapi ke atas setiap pekerja. Oleh itu, ia membantu dalam mengurangkan tingkah laku pekerja yang tidak jujur dan dalam mewujudkan ketenteraman dan disiplin dalam sesebuah organisasi. Okey, itu saja daripada saya. Saya serahkan kepada pembentang seterusnya. Terima kasih.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya akan menerangkan mengenai proses pengawalan dalam pengurusan. Step yang pertama ialah establishing a standard and method for measuring performance standards. Establishing standard and method for measuring performance standard are by definition simply the criteria of performance. They are the selected point in an entire planning program at which performance is measured so that manager can receive signals about how things are going and thus do not have to watch every step in execute of plan. Seterusnya, standard element from precisely word, measurable objective and are especially important for control. In an industrial enterprise, standard could include sales and production target, work attendance goal, safety record. In service industries, on the other hand, standards may include several times customers have to wait in the queue at a bank or the number of new clients attracted by the relevant advertising campaign. Okay, langkah yang pertama ni ialah meletakkan piawai dalam perniagaan kita. Contohnya kita meletakkan target sebanyak 12 juta selama untuk setahun. Jadi untuk sebulan kita perlulah mendapatkan keuntungan sebanyak 1 juta setiap bulan. Step yang kedua ialah measuring the performance, mengukur performance. The measurement of performance against standard should be done on a forward-looking basis so that deviation may be detected in advance of their occurrence and avoided by appropriate action. Several methods are used for measuring the performance of the organization. If standards are appropriately drawn and if means are available for determining exactly what subordinates are doing, appraisal of actual or expected performance is fairly easy. But there are many activities for which it is difficult to develop accurate standard, and there are many activities that are hard to measure. It may be quite simple, for example, to establish level hour standard for the production of mass-produced item, and it may be equally simple to measure performance against this standard, but in this less technical kind of work. For example, controlling the work of the industrial relation manager is not easy because definite standard cannot be easily developed. The superior of this type of manager often rely on vague standards, such as the attitude of labor union, the enthusiasm and the loyalty of subordinate, the index of labor turnover and industrial dispute. In such case, the superior measurement are often equally vague. Okay. Step yang kedua ini ialah kita mengukur tahap performance kita pada dalam perniagaan. Jadi contohnya pada setiap bulan kita harus mencapai target sebanyak 1 juta. Jadi kita ukur adakah target tersebut dapat dicapai. Seterusnya kita mengukur juga tahap pekerja kita, adakah mereka lakukan kerja-kerja mereka dengan baik dari segi semangat kerjasama dan sebagainya. Step yang ketiga pula ialah determining whether performance match the standard. Determining whether performance match the standard is an easy but important step in the control process. It's about comparing the measurement result which a standard already set. If performance match the standard, manager may assume that everything is under control. In such a case, the manager do not have to intervene in the organization operation. Okey, step yang ketiga ini ialah kita membandingkan performance kita dengan piawaian yang telah ditetapkan. Jika satu bulan kita harus mendapatkan 1 juta ringgit, jadi kita lihat tahap performance kita pada bulan ini adakah mencapai 1 juta atau tidak, dan kita bandingkan dengan bulan-bulan sebelumnya, adakah kurang ataupun lebih. Okey, step yang keempat, taking corrective action. This step becomes essential if performance falls short of standard, and the analysis indicate that corrective action is required. The corrective action could involve a change in one or more activities of the organisation operation. Okey, di sini contoh yang lebih mudah ialah kita akan membetulkan kembali dan mengimbangkan kembali tahap performance kita pada setiap bulan untuk mencapai target untuk tahunan. Okey, jika sebelumnya bulan sebelum ini kita hanya mencapai 0.5 juta. Jadi pada bulan ini kita haruslah memikirkan strategi agar kita mendapatkan keuntungan sebanyak 1.5 juta agar mengimbangi kembali tahap yang kita target sebelum ini, bagi mencapai target sebanyak 12 juta selama untuk tempoh setahun. Okey, secara asasnya control proses ada 4 langkah ataupun 4 step. Yang pertama ialah set as standard. Kita menetapkan piawaian ataupun menetapkan target pada sesuatu perniagaan. Yang kedua ialah measuring the performance, iaitu mengukur tahap performance kita untuk mencapai ke target. Yang ketiga ialah kita compare performance kita. Contohnya kita secara bulanan kita compare adakah bulan ini kita mencapai target yang telah ditetapkan. Begitu juga untuk sebulan sebelumnya. Yang terakhir, taking corrective action, iaitu kita mengambil tindakan sekiranya bulan sebelumnya kita gagal mencapai target untuk bulanan, maka pada bulan ini kita perlulah mencapai target untuk yang lebih bagi mengimbangi kembali performance, iaitu target kita. Contohnya di sini seperti yang saya kata tadi, untuk target asal untuk tahunan kita meletakkan target sebanyak 12 juta, maka setiap bulan haruslah kita bahagikan 1 juta sebulan. Jadi jika bulan sebelumnya kita gagal untuk mencapai 1 juta, maka bulan selepasnya kita harus mencapai target yang lebih agar dapat mengimbangi kembali bulan yang tidak mencapai target, iaitu pada bulan lepas, agar kita mencapai target untuk tahunan sebanyak 12 juta. Itu saja.
Okay, now I want to talk about principle of effective controlling, iaitu prinsip pengawalan berkesan. terdapat 8 prinsip dalam prinsip pengawalan berkesan. First, Principle of Attaining of Objective, iaitu prinsip pencapaian objektif. Second, Principle of Reflections of Plan, iaitu prinsip refleksi rancangan. Third is Principle of Control Responsibility, iaitu prinsip tanggungjawab kawalan. Fourth is Principle of Efficiency of Control, iaitu prinsip kecekapan kawalan. Next is Principles of Critical Point, iaitu prinsip titik kritikal. Next is Principles of Individuality of Control, iaitu prinsip kawalan individu. Next is Principle of Review, iaitu prinsip kajian. And the last one is Principles of Action, iaitu prinsip tindakan. Okay, first, Principle of Attaining of Objective, iaitu prinsip pencapaian objektif. Control must attribute to the achievement of goal by detecting actual and potential deviations from plans to permit corrective action to be taken in a timely manner. Okey, iaitu pengendalian mesti dikaitkan dengan pencapaian. Tujuan dengan mengesan penyelewangan yang sebenarnya dan yang berpotensi dari rancangan untuk membolehkan tindakan pembetulan dilakukan tepat pada waktunya. Second, Principles of Reflections of Plan, iaitu prinsip refleksi rancangan. Control needs to be coordinate with the organization's plan. Okey, iaitu kawalan perlu diselaraskan dengan rancangan organisasi. Okey, perancangan dan kawalan adalah dua sisi yang sama. Semuanya berjalan seiring. Oleh itu, jika firma mempunyai rancangan yang jelas dan lengkap, maka lebih mudah untuk membuat sistem kawalan bagi syarikat tersebut. Okey, next, Principles of Control Responsibility, iaitu prinsip tanggungjawab kawalan. Okay, primary responsibility for the exercise of control rests with the manager's charge with the executions of a particular plans, iaitu tanggungjawab utama untuk menjalankan kawalan terletak pada pengurus yang ditugaskan untuk melaksanakan rancangan tertentu. Okey, Principles of Efficiency of Control, iaitu prinsip kecekapan kawalan. Okey, control system should detect and highlight the causes of deviation efficiently. Okey, control should be directed prevents deviation. Okey, sistem kawalan harus mengesan dan mengetengahkan penyebab penyelewangan dengan cekap. Kawalan harus diarahkan dan dikawal untuk mengelakkan penyelewangan. Contohnya, sekiranya syarikat melampaui batas dengan menyiapkan sistem kawalan, maka dalam jangka masa panjang, ia boleh membahayakan mereka. Sistem kawalan yang sangat luas boleh menjadi mahal dan faedah kosnya dapat hilang. Oleh itu, pentingnya terdapat kecekapan dalam pendekatan dan teknik sistem kawalan. Okay, next. Principles of Critical Point, iaitu prinsip titik kritikal. All operations has settled area that are more points to error. Okay, so manager should focus on these critical points of performance. Semua operasi mempunyai kawasan tertentu yang lebih terdedah kepada kesalahan. Oleh itu, pengurus harus menumpukan perhatian pada tahap prestasi kritikal ini. Okay, next. Principles of Individuality of Control, iaitu prinsip kawalan individu. Controls are more effective when they meet the individual requirements of manager. Okey, kawalan lebih berkesan apabila memenuhi keperluan individu pengurus. Dalam kawalan, peranan seorang pengurus jugalah amat penting. Principles of Review, iaitu prinsip kajian. The control system should be reviewed periodically and adjusted as necessary. Sistem kawalan harus dikaji secara berkala dan disesuaikan mengikut keperluan. Okay, and the last one is Principles of Action, iaitu prinsip tindakan. The functions of control is justified only if positive remedial action is taken. If there are any deviations, actions must be taken. Okey, fungsi kawalan dibenarkan hanya jika tindakan pemulihan positif diambil. Hanya menunjukkan penyelewangan atau kekurangan dari standard tidak mencukupi. Harus ada tindakan untuk memperbaiki penyelewangan ini dari piawaian melalui perancangan, perorganisasian, kepemimpinan dan fungsi pengurusan yang lain. Okay, now I want to talk about characteristic of effective control, iaitu ciri-ciri kawalan berkesan. Okay, first, accurate information iaitu maklumat tepat. Information obtained must be accurate, measurable and comparable to the standard. The accuracy of information received by employee is important to rectify. Iaitu maklumat yang diperoleh mestilah tepat, dapat diukur dan setanding dengan standard. Ketepatan maklumat yang diterima oleh pekerja penting untuk dibetulkan. And the second one is accepted by employee, iaitu penerimaan oleh pekerja. The implementation of a control system must be have certain meaning and goals, so it can be easily understood and accepted by all the employee. Iaitu pelaksanaan sistem kawalan harus memiliki maksud dan maklumat yang mudah diterima oleh semua pekerja. Comprehensive objective iaitu objective comprehensive. The established objective must be understood by the individual assigned to achieve it. A control system that is difficult to understand can cause the understride mistake to occur. Iaitu objektif yang ditetapkan harus dilakukan oleh individu yang ditetapkan untuk mencapainya. Sistem kawalan yang berbeza untuk memahami boleh menyebabkan kesalahan yang tidak diingini berlaku. Next, flexible. The control system must be flexible in order for organization to grab new opportunity and act promptly on any change that occur. Accordingly, the manager should design a control system to meet a new revised needs or adapts quickly to measure and report new information and track new endeavors. Sistem kawalan harus diperoleh secara fleksibel untuk menggunakan peluang baru dan bertindak dengan segera perubahan yang dijalankan. Untuk contoh, pengurus perlu merancang sistem kawalan untuk memenuhi keperluan yang diperlukan baru ataupun mengambil cara baru. And the last one is timeless, iaitu masa tepat. Control must be conducted at the suitable and right time in order to bring progress to the organization. For example, report of daily production, weekly update of research and development project, and monthly sale. If any problem arises, the manager will respond promptly and take corrective action. Kawalan harus dilakukan pada waktu yang sesuai dan tepat dalam pesanan untuk membawa kemajuan ke organisasi. Contoh, laporan pengeluaran harian, projek penyelidikan dan pembangunan minggu dan jualan bulanan. Jika ada masalah tersebut, pengurus akan bertindak balas dengan segera dan mengambil tindakan pembetulan. Now I will pass to Tarsini.
A very good morning to Madam Azamuni and my dear fellow friends. My name is Darshini Murugan and my registration number is 03D8320F1057. First of all, thank you Nazreen. Today, I am talking about the classify the types of controlling in organization. There are three types of controlling. First, control types by timing, and then financial control. Lastly, benchmarking. Control types by timing, which is three types, are feed-forward control, concurrent control, feedback control. Secondly, financial control. There are two types, which is financial statement and ratio analysis. Lastly, benchmarking.
Created using Powtoon. Created using Powtoon.
Types of contouring. Contour can focus on events before, during, or after process based on timing. Organizations sometimes use multiple control systems combining forward, concurrent, and feedback control processes and using several strategic control points. The three basic types of controls are feed-forward control, concurrent control, feedback control. Okay, feed-forward control anticipates problems, which is before activity starts. For example, pre-employment psychology testing inspect the quality of raw materials, select qualified job applicants. Secondly, concurrent control solves problems as they happen, which is during activity. For example, total quality management, employee performance, and then organization resources. Feedback control solves problems after they occur, which is after activity. For example, analyze sales, final quality inspection of products and services, survey customer satisfaction. Okay, firstly, feed-forward control. Feed-forward control is performed before an activity starts. For example, a human resource manager of a crude oil refinery provides training for new employees. Usually, policies, procedures, and rules that serve to curtail undesired behaviors. Also known as preliminary control, pre-control, or preventive control, feed-forward control focuses on human, material, and financial resources that flow into the organization. For example, drug screening, physical examination, aptitude test. Okay, secondly, concurrent control. Concurrent or steering control takes place while a job or activity is in progress. It is still not too late for managers to take corrective action. Managers can rectify the problem or reallocate organizational resources to sectors that will bring profit to the organization. It is not only conducted on employees' performance but also on human and non-human resources such as equipment, machinery, and the office layer. Enable managers to grab unexpected opportunities. Even this control can slow down an activity, however, it can avoid a big problem from occurring. Okay, lastly, feedback control. The feedback control measures the results of completed activity. The cause of any deviation from the standard or plan are identified and the findings applied to similar future activities. Sometimes called post-action output control, feedback control focuses on the organization's outputs, in particular the quality of an end product or service. For example, in most universities, students provide feedback on the value and usefulness of every subject they take. The speed of information flow is an important factor in ensuring an effective feedback control. Okay, now move on to the financial control. The first method is financial statement, used to calculate the financial value of an organization's internal and external products and services. Financial statements are usually used to measure the following aspects. First, liquidity position, which is the ability to turn assets into cash in order to meet the organization's current financial needs or obligation. Secondly, long-term liability and equity position. And then profitability position, which is the ability to earn a profit. Okay, now break-even analysis. Used to study the relationship between sales or revenues and costs to determine the break-even point whereby total sales will be equal to total cost. The difference between total sales or total revenue and total cost or total expenditures is the profit or loss earned by the organization during a certain time period. Helps the company management to understand the sales volume, pricing, cost and sales price. Okay, secondly, cash flow statement. That is, measures how well a company manages its cash position, meaning how well the company generates cash to pay its debt, obligation and fund its operating expenses. Thirdly, balance sheet provides a snapshot of an organization's assets, liabilities, and net worth at a particular point in time. The limitation to the balance sheets are assets being recorded at historical cost, use of estimates, and it cannot show the valuable non-monetary assets. Because it is static, many financial ratios draw and data included in both the balance sheet and the more dynamic income statement and statement of cash flows to get a better picture of what is going on with the organization business. This is the example of balance sheet. Okay, the second type is ratio analysis, used to report key figures from the organization financial records as percentage or fraction. Ratio analysis comparison can be made in two ways. That is, comparison over a time period, the organization present ratio compared with its past ratio. The secondly is comparison with competitors or the industry as a whole. The first type of comparison will show how the organization's performance has changed, while the second comparison will indicate the organization's performance relative to its competitors. Okay, there are many kinds of ratios, which is profitability, liquidity, leverage, and lastly activity or operations. The commonly used ratios for profitability is return on investment, and then liquidity is current ratio, and then commonly used ratio for leverage is debt ratio. Lastly, activity or operations is inventory turnover. The calculation for profitability is equals to net profits after tax over total assets. And then liquidity is equals to current assets over current liabilities. And then the calculation for leverage is total debt over total assets. Finally, activity or operations, the calculation is sales over inventory. And then what it measures? The profitability is the productivity of assets. The liquidity is the organization's ability to meet its short-term obligations. And then the leverage is the proportion of financing supplied by creditors. And then the activity or operation is the efficiency of inventory management. Okay, lastly, benchmarking. An organization measures its practices, products, or services against its biggest competitor or the leading companies in the industry. Managers to know if the company is performing particular activities or function as well as it should. Its costs are in line with its competitors or if internal organization process need improvement. Internal process are measured against an external standard to identify weakness and performance gaps within the organization and turn them into opportunities for improvement. And then some companies have recognized the potential for internally benchmarking best practices as a tool for monitoring or measuring performance. For example, UMW Toyota Motor Malaysia has developed a suggestion screening system to prioritize best practices based on potential impact of implementation of sales and after sales services. So this is the references of our presentation. That is end of my presentation. So finally, thank you.